each team. We'll have the head coach give a brief preview of the season, and then we'll open it up for questions. We've also, through social media, asked our fans to submit questions. So if time allows, we'll also go to some of those questions as well. So Coach Racine, why don't you give us a preview of the women's tennis season?
Okay, we're looking forward to the season getting underway. A little bit of warmer weather where we can enjoy the outdoors a little more. But from last year's, the girls had a tremendous season. They finished 7th in the nation. We went through the regional, and off of that team, we lost a couple key players, the Sonnervig twins, Louise and Mariana. But we're unfortunate we have them back as coaches this year, so we have their experience to add to the team. We've got some newcomers that have joined the team. Katerina Dikosovic is her name. She's from Australia. She has if you saw the spelling of it, it's very hard to pronounce or even spell. And then also we just added another girl, Laureline Farr from France, that joined us in January. The early looks like those two will play near the top of our lineup, which will push a lot of our other players down, which is a good thing in tennis. Since you play flighted every position, the stronger the depth at the top and push the people down, it's better for the team. We're still working now with our doubles pairings, trying to get our doubles figured out and see where we go from there. But early indications are I think we're going to be a little stronger than last year in our singles, and hopefully our doubles will come along. We open up the season very early with the number one team in the nation, February 1st, our first match, just the way it worked out. But we'll see really how we do then. And this is Fernanda Amaral. She's returning from last year. Had a good year. Played 6 singles for us and number 3 doubles. And then Monica Kochanova played number 1 doubles and number 1 singles, and had a great year and ended off the year really playing well last year. This fall, she had a good fall at the regional. Ended up losing in a 3rd set tiebreaker in the quarterfinals. And on the women's side, it was very even this year. All the quarterfinals of our regional, every match was a 3rd set tiebreaker. So really, the top 8 girls in the region, any one of them could have won it. And the girl that won the regional went on to win the national. So really strong region, and most of the top players in our nation are from our region.
Questions for Coach Racine or our student athletes here?
Well, for everybody, opening up against no knees into the schedule, so that was not by design, or?
No, it really wasn't. They're not a regional opponent, so we try but they're highly nationally ranked, so we try and play every year, and we usually meet in a neutral location, and it just worked out. A lot of times we'll meet in Columbus or we'll meet in Valdosta when they're playing there, and as it worked out this year, the only weekend they had open was that first weekend in February to play, where they weren't already full or we weren't going somewhere else. So rather than skip the match, we figured it'd be the same for both teams. Get it started off and get it going.
Is there any kind of an advantage to opening that tough? I mean, you find out what you have right off the bat?
Yeah, I think that's kind of, we'll find out where we stack up, and I think it makes this 3 weeks or 4 weeks we have now to get ready for it a lot more meaningful. I think the kids are working harder this year knowing that match is coming up, so I think it helped us in our preseason.
How do both of you feel about that?
I feel it like a motivational, because knowing how good they are and how hard we have been practicing during all this last semester and during breaks. So I feel very excited to play against them, to know that we can beat them. We have a good team this year. These newcomers that we have, that Derek told about, I think we are doing great. So I'm very excited to play against them, even though they're good. I think it's going to be a good match.
Yeah, I think it's really good because we can set our benchmark really high, so we can compare each other to really good players. And sometimes it's really better to start with tougher matches than with the easy matches, and then just go out and suddenly play with a good team. So I think it's great.
Other questions for Coach Racine or the student athletes?
Monica, can you talk about coming back as the Gulf South Conference Player of the Year last year and what some of your goals are this year?
Well, the goals would be probably just reach the same award, if possible. And just reach higher as the overall team. If we could make it even higher in the nationals, win the nationals, we have a great team. That would be great.
Derek, I see on your schedule just with tennis, you've got a lot of out-of-region competition that's very good. But that still helps you with your overall large regional bid with having a strength of schedule outside of
Yeah, it does. It helps us. They look into all that. Of course, it's probably the same with you guys. Regional opponents are the most important. And then outside of that, even more important to me than the regional ranking is just getting that good competition. I feel if you play that competition, you're going to play it at nationals. So if you play it day in and day out, then I think it's going to be better for you. I think that's one of the upsides of our region. It's, too bad only 2 teams go out, but at the good side is we don't have to search far for good competition. And we're fortunate too. A lot of the better teams in the nation will come to us on a regular basis, being in Florida. And so.
All right, that'll do it for women's tennis. So Fernanda and Monica, you can have a seat. And now we'll bring up our student athletes from the men's tennis team, Domenico Sano and Bruno Savi. So while they're sitting down, Coach Racine, why don't you give us a preview of the season on the men's side?
Yeah, we're looking forward to the men's season, especially this year. We've come very close the last couple of years, the finals, semifinals last year, both times losing to Armstrong, which we're hoping to avenge that on in a few weeks. We've lost, again, same on the men's side, we lost Kevin Ducros off our team, but we've retained him as a coach, so we feel we're in good shape there. He's been doing a tremendous job getting the teams ready. This fall, Bruno Savi had stellar fall. He was number 1 player in the nation. He won the national tournament, won the regional tournament. In doubles, him and his partner, Felipe Frattini, won the regional and then lost in a very match in the national down in Fort Myers. So really as good a fall as you could have. And he'll be our number 1 player and lead us this year. We've got some newcomers as well. In the regional tournament, we had 3 of our doubles teams were in the semifinals of our regional. We had 2 players in the semifinals, Bruno and another newcomer, Kenny Brazil. And then we have another newcomer, Alex Perot, who will play near the top of our lineup from France. And then another surprise, Douglas Bowe, who's from Brazil, who's a newcomer. Really, we're expecting him to kind of, year to get going, but it looks like he's playing very well and should fill in somewhere 4, 5, 6 all the way through. We've got a really deep team, so we've got 12 guys that could all fill in and all win. So I feel pretty fortunate, even if we get some injuries, we're going to be in good shape.
Questions for Coach Racine or Bruno or Domenico?
Derek, on both the women and the men's program, you have so many different countries represented. Can you just talk about the recruiting process? And I think on the men, you have 9 different countries represented. I haven't looked at the women. That's a lot of different.
Yeah, it's a. Yeah, we were a little heavy on the Brazil side, so I had to go and look for some other countries. But no, it's good. It brings a good flair. A lot of people want to come to school in Florida, which really helps us. And then a lot of these guys bring their friends when they come over, and they come to the school. They like the school. They tell their friends about it, and so it really kind of snowballs into a good recruiting process. As well as there's former players. We've got some of our good players this year. We've gotten from former players of ours that are now coaching in their home countries. So it's really good. Just to give you an idea of the level wise, like Alex Perot, one of our new freshmen. We went to a tournament this fall, and he played the number 1, Florida State's number 1 recruit, the number 1 player in Florida, junior in the 18s, and Alex beat him fairly handily. So it was a pretty good win for Alex this fall, and Alex will probably play 3 or 4 for us. So it's the level's very high, and the only way to kind of get that level is look worldwide, because tennis is such a worldwide sport. So we've been fortunate.
Other questions?
Hey, Bruno, how do you follow up on what you're doing and with what you've done? And with Kevin being gone, do you feel like maybe more responsibility?
Oh, yeah. Kevin was a great loss on our team. He was a great player, our number 1 player, number 1 in doubles as well. But I still believe in my team this year. We're really strong. We just have to work a little bit in doubles, but in singles, I'm pretty confident about the other guys.
Or anybody, do you feel that the team is built to maybe be better at the national level?
Yeah, it's always tough to play those teams like Armstrong. This year, Hawaii Pacific has a great team, and I believe the secret for our team is that everybody's like it's like a family. Like everybody gets together along really well. So I think this helps in the court.
Dominica, y'all got 5 nationally ranked guys. How much do y'all buy into that? Does that give y'all confidence going?
Of course, it gives us some confidence, but at the end, it's not that like it's gonna really matter, because this is a team sport. Like we all have something to do in the team. It doesn't matter if you play or if you don't, or if you don't. You always have to help the teammates. It's great to have the number 1 player in the nation, of course, and I think it's first time ever we have 5 ranked players. But I give us confidence, and I will say like most of the teams are gonna be aware of that, and they're gonna try to beat us. But I think it's really good for us and for the team. Of course, coach always helping us out. Kevin is doing an amazing job as assistant coach this year. Hopefully next week we start strong against Astra with the front foot all the way to the end,
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right, our next sport will be women's golf. So we will go ahead and bring up head coach Brian Clark, along with student athletes Elin Olson and Daisy Mae Kenny. All right, Coach Clark, you can go ahead and give us a preview of the spring season.
Okay. Kind of like Derek said, we want warm weather. We're outside sports, so we're looking forward to some warm weather. We're going to start the beginning of February. We go to Kiawah Island. So we play Barry, who's ranked 2nd, 3rd in the nation. So we jump in as well and get going right away. We've got a good group this year. We lost Augustina to graduation last year. She was a good leader on the team. And we lost Louisa. She didn't come back. But we got a freshman from England, Lily Kent, who has been a great addition. And then these 2 girls, Elin has the lowest stroke average through the fall on the team, and she's actually highly ranked in the region. So she stepped up, and Daisy's made vast improvements from last year. So the girls they're ready to go. We're excited about the season, and hopefully have some good finishes to start, and then make the regionals and play well.
All right, questions for Coach Clark or our student athletes from women's golf?
Elin, after a good freshman year like you had, you come in and have that much success, how does it feel different now with that experience behind you coming into a second year?
It's always, for me, it's been nice to start off well. I'm just looking forward to improve every year. And as us as a team, we're working well together, and we're doing better every semester. So it feels good to have a good freshman year in my back to move forward.
Brian, how do you see the program progress? This will be your 3rd season. If you could just talk a little bit about that.
It's improved dramatically. Steve recruited most of these girls, and I came in, so he did. These girls are his recruits. He did a great job with these girls. But they're learning to play. each and every year and each and every semester. They're growing and they're getting comfortable. So, you know, on paper, I think we're better this year. I mean, time will tell. But if they keep doing what they're doing, keep working like they're working, they're going to have a good chance come the end of the year for some good things, you know.
JD May, y'all had a nice long break, you know, between winter and the spring season. So what's the team's feeling mindset going into the spring with the tournament coming up here in a couple of weeks?
I think we're all putting in a lot of time, a lot of hard work. We're practicing, doing some great short game work, and I feel like with our motivation and how close we are getting as a team, I feel like success is on its way at the end of this semester.
Ryan, for your host tournament, do you have any commitments at this point, or are teams that we'd expect to see come in to play in the Argonaut Invitation?
We do. We've got 9 right now. We've got Limestone, who's a good program this year, a good women's program, and St. Leo's coming up. They're also they've come on strong. They've got a new coach this year. He's done really good things for them. So they're a good program. They're coming up, and then we've got some locals, some West Alabama, West Georgia. They're coming over. So we've got some good commitments to start. It'll get better the next few years because we're actually hosting regionals in 2016. So it'll get much better, stronger. Everybody will want to come play. So.
Questions for Coach Clark or the student athletes? Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
So we will transition. Our next sport will be men's golf. So we'll go ahead and bring up head coach Steve Fell along with student athletes Gary Buffington III and Esteban Castro. All right, Coach Fell, you can go ahead and give us a preview of the spring season and how the team's looking.
Well, we're excited to get going here with the spring season and build off what we had in the fall. We had pretty good momentum going towards the end of the fall season. We won a big tournament over in Gulf Shores, a big Division I tournament. Esteban won the tournament individually. So we're trying to carry that momentum and over into the spring as we get going. We have 5 pretty big regional tournaments coming up. So we got our work cut out for us. We're ranked number 1 in the nation after the fall. So there's only one way to go from there, but hopefully we can maintain that. But we lost. I did not lose anyone from last season's team that went to the national championship. So when we got some good newcomers, Esteban and a couple others. So we're excited to get started. We just started practice last week. It's kind of been a little rough with the weather, and we're trying to knock off the rust from Christmas break. But I'm excited for what we can do coming up through the spring, and hopefully we can get back to the national championship, which is where we won our first national championship up in Michigan. I would love to get back there. It's extremely tough to get through our super region with all the great teams that we have here in the South and the Southeast. So that's always a tough task every year, but would love to get back there.
For Coach Fell and the student athletes.
Steve, you've had so many great teams and players. How does this one stack up in your years? I mean, what do you see about this group?
Well, it's a very good team chemistry-wise, which is very underrated. It's very important. Probably the best team chemistry of any team I've ever had. It's incredible. So all the guys really pulled together and worked well as a team. we're trying to get some people to separate separate themselves and kind of get to the top of the team. Esteban's doing a great job of that. I think that we'll have a good chance of getting back to the national championship. It's very tough nowadays with our super region, but it's hard to say where this team ranks. I mean, I've been coaching 20 years, so there's a lot of teams, and trying to rank them is pretty tough.
Well, without necessarily ranking them, but what kinds of character? I mean, you talked about the chemistry of the team, but what do championship teams have? What do teams that have succeeded have that you see in this team that you like? Besides the chemistry, or
Well,
is that it?
No, that's not really it. They're very consistent. We've had people step up at different times. There's no one player that's kind of stepped out above anyone else, so it's kind of a combination of a group of guys that could be in the top 5. Probably about 8 guys that could be in that top 5. So you don't know which 5 are going to a tournament, and it's not like some teams I've had where it's which 5 are going. So the depth is pretty good. So.
Gary, how's this feel for you? I mean, does this team feel a little different than the last time?
Well, for me, freshman year, we were ranked number 1 at this point as well, and we didn't make it to the national championship that year. And then last year at this point, we were in the high 40s, and we made it to the national championship. So to me, it seems like this team is something special. Last year, we were something special. Coach said he was prouder of our group of guys than he was of any team he's coached in a long time. And that really meant a lot to us, and that hit home with me as far as what I expect of my team and my teammates. And I think this is going to be a good year for us. Really, we don't have any expectations or any goals. We'd like to get to the national championship, but it's a team effort. None of us individually are perfect, but together we have the opportunity to be perfect, and that's what we're looking for.
I would also like to recognize Gary. He won the Elite 89 award at the national championship, which is the award that goes out to all the players that are at the national championship for the highest GPA, and he has a 4.0. So it's pretty impressive. Never made a B in his life.
That said, Gary, beyond golf, I mean, what are your plans post-graduation?
Hopefully golf. I'm trying to figure that out. I'm kind of at the point now where I thought, okay, I got 4 years to figure out my plans. Well, 4 years has kind of dwindled to now a year and a half. So I plan to attend grad school, get my master's of accountancy, pass the CPA exam, and then hopefully keep golfing. I really like that a lot more than school. But at the same time, I do put a lot of effort into school. But no, right now, focus on the team, focus on golf. That's everything else is on the back burner.
Esteban, can you talk about your freshman year? You obviously had a big fall. What's the experience been like as a freshman and the success you've had so far?
It has been great. It has been probably the best months of my life in terms of school and in terms of golf. I have a really, really good team and a really good relationship, as Coach said, with the team and also with Coach Fell. And I feel pretty good about the next coming season, or this one. I think we can do a really good job, and we can get to national championship and not only get there, but win it, because that's the goal we have had for the entire year, and that's what we're working for.
Coach, if you want to also talk a little bit about the two locals that are new to the team this year with Joey Stills and J.R. Schultz.
Yeah, we have two locals, JR from Gulf Breeze and Joey Stills from Catholic High. They've been two good additions. They're kind of getting their feet wet with college golf. It's, step above where they've been. And, they've done a pretty good job. JR's had some good tournaments. Joey's kind of, trying to adapt to the level we're at. But it's nice to have two local kids and have the support of the community behind them.
All right, thanks, guys. All right, our next sport will be softball. So we will bring up head coach Tammy Sear along with Caroline Caston and Taylor Bailey.
All right.
Sear, why don't you give us a preview of the season?
I would love to. We too are very excited about starting this spring. We've been practicing now for going on 2 weeks, and the gals are doing a great job. The softball team is kind of going through an evolution of sorts. It was a little sad when my coach of 14 years, assistant coach of 14 years, Cindy Corey, decided to move on. And we went through a little bit of, uneasy times or whatever, but changes. I'm very, very blessed to have Coach Melissa Paul on staff. She, besides being a wonderful woman and great with the team, she's so intelligent, and she's we're just blessed to have her. She was at University of Missouri for 7 years and has that Division I mentality, which is pushing me to step a little bit outside the box. And she's done great things with our hitters and with the team in general, and we're very blessed to have her. This year's team is going to be very good. We probably the last couple of years have struggled with our depth of pitching. We haven't had that number 2 pitcher to come in and win ball games for us. So we remedied that. We went out and brought in 4 freshmen. So we have 6 pitchers on staff altogether. So we definitely have taken care of that aspect. As the coaches have alluded to previous to me, the Gulf South Conference and South Region is very competitive and a very, very strong, tough conference. And I don't know, in softball especially, it's very offensive-minded. If you don't have that gal that can come in and put a stop to that, you're gonna struggle. And we hope that we have done that for this year. I know last year this is Taylor Bailey, our number 1 pitcher. She'll be a senior this year. It was GSC conference time, and we gave Taylor the ball and told her it was hers until she told me that she couldn't throw anymore. And I don't know if South Haven for the last, 5 years we've been going there. It seems like 20, but it rains every weekend there, and it did again this year, or last year. And so had it not rained, we would have played 2 games the first day, and then come back and play the championship game of the winners bracket the next day. But we had to play 3. Taylor came out. We beat West Alabama, and then she came out and beat University of Alabama Huntsville. And then our day would have been over. Taylor would have been able to rest, but we had to play again against Valdosta. And it was 0-0 through 5, and you make one mistake in our conference and you're done. And Courtney Albritton, who was the Gulf South Player of the Year, hit a home run, and we ended up losing 2-0. And then by the next day, Taylor had run out of gas. But she had a great finish. We're excited to have her back this year. She will be our number 1 pitcher, and we look for amazing things. But you're going to get some help this year, so we're in good shape there. And this is Caroline Caston, and I tell this story every time I introduce to somebody, but I'll be quick, but it's a great story. I got picked up by an alumni two Christmases ago to play in a Toys for Tots slow pitch tournament. And I was pitching actually, and Caroline was playing the outfield and caught my eye. She made a catch or something, and then I was like, wow, that girl can play. In my head, I thought that. And then she caught another ball and threw a ball into home, and I go, girl, you can play this game. She's like, well, Coach, yeah. She goes, I tried out for you 5 years ago, and you rejected me. I said, well, clear that was my mistake. And so that Monday morning, Caroline called me, and she said, were you serious about that comment? And I go, of course I was. You're a good player. She goes, well, I've wanted to go back and get my degree, so if you'll have me, I'd like to join the team. And I was like, all right. And I gave her, do this, 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 and this, not thinking that she would. And she applied for admission, got everything taken care of. And that first day of school of last spring semester, we got her completely, everything that we had to do, we got done in a day. So these freshmen that drag their feet and don't get their things done, Caroline came in and got it done in a day. And her nickname on the team is Ma, because Caroline has 2 little boys. And her husband is unbelievable and brings them to the games. And she's just a testament to it's never too late. Not that she's old by any stretch of the imagination, but and yesterday was her birthday. I'm going to reveal her age. She turned 29. So she's last year, Caroline came in and hit 390. She made the all-tournament GSC tournament team and would have got GSC honors, but didn't play the first few games of the schedule last spring because she had just joined the team. But anyways, with these 2 girls and with the newcomers we have come in, we brought in some hitters as well. We have Lauren Bernard, who hit 13 home runs for Lake Sumner Community College last year, and then a very talented hitting freshman pitcher who hit a grand slam off the scoreboard this fall. So we feel like we're going to be very strong and competitive this year and going to give the GSC a run. So, and undoubtedly our goal this year is to win the conference championship. And we do that, and then everything else will fall into place with regionals and all the extra stuff.
Questions for Coach Sear of the student athletes?
Caroline, how special is this?
It's great. It really is. I might get emotional this year. It's going to be amazing with Coach Sear. Take me in. I wanted to quit when we came back after Christmas break. My father passed away, and she told me to pull through, and I know it's going to be special. We have a great team, new eyes on the coaching staff, and it looks good.
When you left high school, how active did you stay in softball?
I played 2 years at a junior college in Alabama, and after that, like she said, I tried out for her and went to work, got married, had kids, and came back, and here I am.
So you have 2 full years of eligibility.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I played, yeah.
She played last spring. She's definitely a team leader. The gals really look up to her. She'll do something amazing, and they'll go, she's got 2 kids. And every coach we play, they go, where's the one with 2 kids? I'm like, that one, they're like, oh my gosh. Because you can see she's got an amazing body.
Thanks.
After 2 children.
Take a look, getting some help on the pitching staff. I mean, Tammy and I were talking about this earlier about having some depth in pitching, which obviously is such a premium in this league. How does that maybe change your approach or make things easier for you?
I mean, every team I've been on, I've been the only pitcher, so I'm used to it. But I mean, it's going to be big for me because I love having help, and the girls that they brought in this year, and even last year's girls, are amazing. And I think having another person to work with what we both bring to it, it's going to be really good for us.
Tim, you talked about the depth of pitching in this league and how important it is to go through that grind of all the offenses you face. Can you talk a little bit about depth of pitching and how much of a factor that is in being competitive?
Oh, it is completely. We have a very talented freshman out of Birmingham, Rebecca Hine, who pitched her team to the state tournament. Jessica Wilkerson comes to us from Gainesville, Florida. Becca Taylor from Panama City area, and then Brooke Hale from Central Florida area. I mean, you just, although softball pitching is a natural motion, and you can compared to baseball to Mike's guys. You can't throw a baseball player every day, but a pitcher can honestly go out there and throw every single day. So you get more mileage out of a softball pitcher than you do a baseball pitcher. But the grind of the schedule, we couldn't throw Taylor all year long last year, in knowing that down the stretch she was going to do 100% of it. So it's very important, and everywhere you play a doubleheader. And so you have to have somebody. I think last year's team knew we could compete with Taylor throwing, but then we're playing not to lose when she wasn't on the mound, and you could tell. And, and in this league, back in when I pitched a long time ago, it was a 1-0. I mean, the bats are, more explosive. The ball. I mean, there's going to be runs scored, and that's just the nature of the game now as compared to earlier on. But it's crucial. We had to increase our pitching staff for sure.
More questions for Coach Sear of student athletes?
Yeah, Coach, can you just talk about some of the other returners you have coming back? You talked a lot about the newcomers, but you also have a lot of returning starters coming back.
We do. Both of our catchers will be juniors, Jenna Belzer and Hannah Camp. Both are having a great preseason so far. Elizabeth Nugent will be at first base. She's doing a great job for us. She'll be a senior. Our outfield is undoubtedly probably one of the best outfields we've ever had at West Florida. Caroline is in right field. Audrey Harner will be a senior. She's in center field. And then Danielle Sanders and all of those gals. And then the two gals that are chomping at the bit to get in a spot are Jordan Camp and Bianca Lopez. And all five of those girls can absolutely fly. So our outfield coverage is amazing. And even though they are quick and they all have very strong arms. So our outfield is awesome. We have a senior at shortstop, Hannah out of California, who will do a great job for us, a senior at second base. Lauren Correa, who is a big lefty presence in the batting order. So we've got a very talented team for this year. We're excited.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Our final sport will be baseball. So we will bring up head coach Mike Jeffcoat along with student athletes Garrett Flynn and Caleb Barlow. Preview of the spring season?
Well, it's great to finally be here. I think, along with the rest of the coaches, we're excited as well. We need every bit of the week and a half, I guess, we have left before we open up next Saturday, February 1st. So, we've been battling a lot of the things that other spring teams, I think, have battled that are outside sports, weather, banged up guys, some strains. So our goal is obviously trying to avoid the injury bug. But I think this team's got some really good leadership. We've got a lot of returners back. I think on the sheet it shows 6 returning players, but really Chase Kiefer almost had 100 at-bats as a true freshman last year. He's back, and he'll plug in the outfield as well. So really we about have 7 guys back in the starting lineup, the whole infield. Garrett Flynn, our 5th-year senior catcher's back. Excited for him. He's been through the wars. It was with our 2011 National Championship season. Him along with Kevin Peters that'll be an integral part of our staff as well. The only 2 left from that year, but those guys bring a lot of perspective. Caleb Barlow, to my left, is a preseason All-American, had a great junior year for us from Jackson, Mississippi, and, nobody outworks this guy. And so to have a senior that, leads by example every day and does the things like Garrett and them do, they don't have to say a lot, unless I may tell them they need to say something. But I think the cohesiveness in our locker room is good. It seems like we have, everybody buying into the team part of it. We
really take a lot of pride in hearing Dr. Benz and Dr. Bailey and Dave Scott, our AD, and the other coaches and teams talk about UWF and what we represent. So, I really like pushing that to our team. And with a sport like baseball and softball, it becomes very difficult to keep guys' eyes on the ball in the big picture in terms of not having blinders on and thinking about their stats. Baseball is a very statistical sport, and especially if you watch any of it nowadays, the sabermetrics and what everybody gets into causes athletes to look more at that. And you have to look between the stats really to see what kind of team you have. And I can look and see at some of the numbers, batting average-wise or what have you, from players last year, and I can tell you they're not indicative of the performance they gave us on the field and what intangibles they brought to the table. So I think a lot of times looking at statistics obviously is more of people's opinion, and it's not really always the true facts, but that is what you have to go off of. The other side of the piece of the puzzle is the pitching. We lost two of our best guys last year in Jake Stevens and Drew Bryson that was in our rotation, had phenomenal years as seniors. We've got some new guys in that Shane Gerke, who does all the recruiting, has done a great job, and they've got great arms and they've got great ability. But they have to go out and do it at this level, whether they're a junior college pitcher, which most of them are that we plug in the top of the rotation, or they're a freshman. And our freshmen are going through struggles adjusting to the speed of the game and what we require of them to be the best they can be. And so, really what we're trying to do is, not lose any more players. We've lost Michael Tomlinson, our junior third baseman, for the year. He's going to have surgery on his shoulder Friday. Another player like these two guys that leads by example, first one out there, last one to leave. He's going to be sorely missed. Hopefully he'll recover fully and be back next year. So we've already got a couple guys that, now we're making adjustments. And so the key for me as a coach is continually showing that positive attitude of, this is what we do when something happens. We've already been moving guys around for contingency plans of this is the position you'll play. And if we always push to them that if we were to start today, this is what we're going to have to do. This is the lineup. So there is no looking down the road. And we have a blue-green team. The blue team's the starters. Green team is the backup. And so they see it in front of their face every day, and they know what they're competing against.
Questions for Coach Jeffcoat for the student athletes?
Like what did last year do you think so close to getting to the College World Series again? One pitch maybe. What did it do for going into this year?
Well, the interesting thing about last year is that team was a good team and had talent. We kind of went through an evolution of, again, early season. Jake Stevens was coming back from off-season shoulder surgery, and we had to get some guys healthy. Austin Southall, that's back, was in our rotation. He started having arm problems 1st of March, had to get him out of the rotation. And so, as usual, your rotation may change around a little bit. Guys step in. Some guys get injured. But, I told the guys, I think the turning point of our season, as good a season as we had, and we were still fighting to get in the regional in the conference tournament. And after we lost and got upset to West Alabama in the first round, he would just finished our regular season 3 games beating them at their place. Had to turn around and play them again. Sometimes tough to get the guys motivated. They're a lower seed, and, it was one of those bite you games, and it got us. And so it put us in a position with Alabama Huntsville that we were both in the same boat, and it was basically, and I'm on the RAC committee for baseball in the South region, and I knew the winner of that game was in the regional and the loser was out, because we were both in the loser's bracket of that anyway. And, we hung in there. Jake Stevens threw an unbelievable game, 9 innings, went into extra innings at a 1-1 tie, and earlier in the game, just to let you know how that unfolded, I had bunted Caleb. He bats in our 3-hole with runners on first and second and no outs. Bunted him to move runners over. He still didn't score. I believe it was the 7th inning or so. He, lo and behold, comes back around in the 10th inning, first and second again and no outs. And I thought, well, I'm not going to take the best hitter in our lineup's bat out of our hands, and he hit a 3-run homer. Made me look like a genius. And a walk-off homer, and that put us in the regional. And then I think from that victory forward, long story short, we became a team that, as a coach, you're trying to push for. The true team that they think they are, but they don't know they are, and then until it happens, they really feel it. And I think they can attest to that. So when we went to the regional, we lost an extra inning game against Delta following the Huntsville game. We had to move to West Georgia and sat in hotels for 3 days in the rain, and that was tough. But when we got to the regional, you could sense something, and when we got out of the gate and got a couple wins on our belt, we put ourselves in a position to win. Tampa won the national championship. They beat us 2 out of 3 at home. That's why our goal is to host the regional and get that home field advantage. It's very tough to do, but, Tammy kind of talks about winning the conference tournament, and being a conference tournament champion kind of takes care of everything else, and it does. But I push also just, hey, every game matters from game 1 to game 50. And the difference is, and I've probably said this in press conferences before, but, for Caleb, junior college guys or freshmen coming out of high school, they can kind of warm up to their district play of high school to get them into playoffs. They can warm up towards their conference play of junior college, and that gets them to the state tournament. State tournament gets them to the World Series. Well, if you don't win your conference tournament, you need an at-large bid, and the at-large bid is your total body of work. So you can't have a poor February and get an at-large bid. So unfortunately, you got to be ready to go out of the gate, and we've been able to do that the last few years, and we hope we can do that again.
More questions for Coach Jeffcoat or the players?
Yeah, you've been here 5 years, national championship and conference titles. Can you take a look at some of those other teams you've been on, and how does this team compare to those?
Well, in 2011, I was redshirted, so I didn't get to play or anything, but he was thankful to take me on all the road trips and everything, so I got to see how everyone worked together and the chemistry and how hard they worked. And between me and Barlow and some of the other captains, this team were really kind of pushing them along, trying to show them that right work ethic, and so that we can get there in our senior year and hopefully win another national championship.
Caleb, you obviously got a lot of awards. You're big gap at the number 3 hole. Do you ever feel an added pressure, or does that stuff not bother you? You just go out there and play?
Not so much pressure. Like going up to a bat, it's just everything goes away. It's just you and the pitcher and the ball. So I don't feel any pressure. You gotta want to be in that spot. So it's never too much pressure. So.
More questions for Coach Jeffcoat or the players? All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We have so much to celebrate in Division II, but we're especially proud of our commitment to Make-A-Wish.
Division II student athletes have led a 10-year initiative to raise funds and help grant wishes of children with life-threatening medical conditions.
Nearly $3 million has been raised, and hundreds of children's wishes have been granted. We play hard, we work hard, and we support others in need. Why? It's simple.
Because we care.